All right, welcome to our fifth online learning lesson. So, this week it is a little bit different. So, you're going to want to make sure that you listen to the video or watch the video about the directions for this lesson. So, instead of using a Google form, which I know has been working really well, and I hate that I had to change it, we're actually going to be using a Google Doc today, and you'll be opening it up in Google Classroom, and it'll make a whole version of the document for you. I know you guys know how to do this because we've done this before in class when we've done writing assignments. Also, I know you're doing this in ELA as well. So the reason why is there's actually going to be a little bit more writing at the end of this one because we are preparing to write an enduring issue essay in next week's lesson. So you'll be outlining kind of the beginning of your essay today, and it's much easier for you to start the outline on a Google Doc, and then we'll give you comments, and then you'll be able to look back at this doc and use it to help you with your writing your essay next week. So that being said, let's jump into what today's lesson is all about. So this lesson is all about human rights violations. And obviously we've talked about human rights violations all year long, but this week is going to be a more in-depth look at some really quite awful events in human history. So again, you will have until 11:59 tonight to finish this assignment, and tonight would be Wednesday, May 6th. So you may start this on Tuesday, but it's due at the end of the day on Wednesday. And you are going to, it's basically the same as all of your lessons have been before. It's just in the Google Doc. So you'll start with the do now, and you'll write us a random message and describe how you're feeling. And then you move on to part one. There's 3 parts to today's assignment. The first part is going to be looking into what are human rights and what are violations of them. So for this chunk of the lesson, you will be basically describing what human rights we have and then identifying how they can be violated. This is an important section of the lesson because it's going to build your understanding of what these rights are, and you're going to be coming back to that throughout part 2 and then part 3. Again, this is the first part of 3. At the end of this lesson, you're going to be writing a claim and outlining body paragraphs for an enduring issue essay, which you will write next week. So you see there's some slides integrated here, just kind of giving some definitions, and then you'll answer questions right here. So where it says, what rights do humans have? Write as many as you can think of. I would be like, all right, like freedom of speech. So you're just going to write it right there. And then I could write more if I wanted, like religion, etc. Okay, so you're going to work. It also tells you how many points each question is worth, so make sure you're paying attention to that. You'll move on and then look at what are human rights violations. This one says it's actually a multiple choice question. So in order to pick the correct answer, so let's say I thought it was B, I would like you to highlight it. I don't care what color. So if you're like, I really want pink, highlight it pink. All right. Then you will answer the next question and move on. There's a little bit of short reading in this section. So you'll do the reading and then answer the question here. And then the next part, it says to watch this video. Actually watch the video. It will help you understand the information that's being talked about here. So you'll click on the link and it'll take you to a YouTube video. It's a TED Ed one. So those ones are like quick, really easy to understand. Then you're going to read about some human rights that have been defined by the United Nations. And they're saying these are the human rights that people should have. So read about that, answer a few questions, and then you're done with part 1. Woo. So on to part 2, you're going to look at specific human rights violations. So there's kind of 2 parts to this lesson. There's watching some videos, and then there is doing the readings. And these readings are actually going to be they're going to be the readings that you will use as your documents for your essay. So it's really important that you understand them. So if you'd like a more in-depth explanation of this section, you're going to click on it. There will be a link here for a video in which I will go over the different examples. But what you're going to be doing is there's 5 different examples about human rights violations. So some of them you maybe have heard about, like the Uyghurs in China. I know a lot of you have heard about that, or like the ICE detention camps for immigrants. Those basically like prisons at the border. So what you're going to do is you have to watch these videos. I made sure the videos were all under around 5 minutes or less, because I'm like, I don't want you to be sitting here watching videos all day long. But so you're going to watch the videos, And then the only thing you have to do after watching the video is this part where it says, what did you find most shocking or interesting about this video? So do that for each one. After you watch the video, you're then going to pick 3 of the events that you learned about up here. And you're going to say, which ones did you think were most interesting? Because those are the ones that you are going to read about. We're not going to make you read all 5. We're letting you have a little bit of choice here. So you are going to pick 3 that you're most interested in. So let's say I'm really interested in the Cambodian genocide, the ICE detention camps, and the LGBTQ rights in Russia. So then I would write that here. I would write Cambodian genocide. Wow, I can't type. Whatever. And you get the gist of it. So then what's going to happen is after you've chosen the 3 examples that you listed as most interesting, you're going to read about those ones. So if I said I thought this one's interesting, I want you to highlight the ones that you're going to read about. So let's say these are the 3 ones that I would like to read about. I want you to show me these are the documents I'm going to read. And this is where you're basically choosing your documents for your enduring issue paragraphs. So you're basically going to be writing 3 paragraphs about these 3 documents. So I'm like, already, these are the ones I'm interested in. These are the ones I want to write about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to document 1, and I am going to read about the Cambodian genocide. And I'm going to answer the questions. The questions are the same for every document. So the first question is always going to be about basically what was causing this. The next one is what were the effects? So what human rights were violated? And then what are some enduring issues related to this example? So when you're reading about it, you could literally write human rights violations is an enduring issue. You also could write, though, like inequality or conflict or impact of ideas and beliefs, whatever you think could be connected to it, that's what you're going to write there. Write as many as you can. In the reading, I would suggest annotating it just because it's going to help you when you're writing your essay. Because again, this document is going to be the document that you're using for your first body paragraph, essentially. So if I'm reading this and I said, like here, it says nearly 2 million people died under the rule of the radical commune goes on, I might want to highlight that. I'm like, I think that's really important. Also, if I'm like, whoa, this is crazy, I see it says communist movement. I might want to make a note to myself and be like, communism was a belief. So maybe this is connected to impact of ideas and beliefs. I'm making that shorter. So I might want to do that just for myself to have that there. All right. I'm going to resolve that. Anyways, so you're going to do that for the 3 documents you chose. So the next document I chose was document 4. This one's a little bit different. It's actually, there is like an article that you're going to read for it. Same thing if you chose document 3. This one's actually really cool. It's kind of like a slide presentation that's really nice and simple and has great pictures and even some videos in it. So you're going to read the 3 documents that you chose, answer the questions, and it's important that you're doing this part and answering the questions. Again, this is what's going to be the bulk of your essay, but additionally, these points are going to be like test points. These are summative assignment points. So it's really important that you do these ones. Finally, you're going to make it to part 3 of the lesson, which is where you're going to begin to outline an enduring issue essay. For this essay, we're going to do it kind of like we did last time, and we're just going to be writing the 3 body paragraphs. We really want to focus in on how you're picking your evidence, how you're contextualizing, meaning giving the background information, and then how you're analyzing it and showing the impact that it had and its connection to the enduring issue. And all of that stuff happens in the body paragraphs. So what we are going to have you do, though, in the first part of this is you're going to pick an issue. So let's say my issue is, I literally just want to say it's human rights violations. Or if I want to say it is like impact of ideas and beliefs, I'm going to write my issue right here on this line. Next, I'm going to define the issue. So if I said human rights violations is my issue, I want you to say what that means. So human rights violations is when the rights of human beings are not respected. And this could be by murder, by laws that go against them, etc. That's my definition. I just made that up right now on the spot. Then you're going to write your claim. Your claim is like your thesis statement. So you would write the enduring issue here. So let's say I said human rights violations. So I'm going to do this. Human rights violations is an enduring issue because it had a significant impact on people all over the world throughout history, as shown by, I would say then write my topics. I'm just going to write them down here because it might be a little bit easier. The lines are going to get kind of funky. As shown by the Cambodian genocide, the ICE detention camps, and anti-LGBTQ laws in Russia. And that would be my claim. And now I know this is what I'm going to talk about. This is what I'm going to be showing. And these are the things that are going to show that. So that is what you will do for your claim. The last thing that you are doing is you're going to basically pick some evidence that you could use to support your claim in your body paragraphs when you write your essay next week. So this would be a good place to maybe just kind of like copy and paste some quotes that you're interested in, or you could just write in your own words, like Cambodian genocide, and just like write down some notes about it, like communists took over and killed nearly 2 million people, whatever it is that you want to write about it, okay? This one is where it says outside information that supports the enduring issue you chose. So if you're writing about human rights violations, this is where you're going to say, what are some other examples that you can make connections to? So if my first paragraph is about Cambodian genocide and the human rights violations there, and I know it was about communists killing people, a good outside piece of evidence that I might want to use in that paragraph is maybe talking about Mao Zedong and how he treated the peasants when he was a communist in China. Millions and millions of peasants died. That is clearly an example of a human rights violation as well. So I'd write Mao Zedong and the Great Leap Forward. I don't have to write a lot. I literally could write that. If you really just want to write Great Leap Forward as a connection, just know that when you're writing your essay then, oh yeah, I need to talk about the Great Leap Forward. After that, you are done. Then you're going to submit your assignment and your teachers will give you some feedback and you'll use that then next week to do your writing.